There is a number of challenges that have been moving up and down. Actually, this week I've been getting many messages from my different clients over the abrupt death, then having hot water as a major problem. In reality, we've gone through a number of things. I have taken you through a number of challenges, a number of issues, and we have been able to resolve it. Let me also let you understand this. Many things can cause a lot of miscarriages. I have talked about miscarriages many times, and now it's becoming too dominant to most of the farmers. Farmers, take this from me, every miscarriage doesn't mean that that is a disease, but a condition can as well cause a disease. Sorry, a condition can as well cause miscarriage, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's an infection that has caused that. I have done this many times. I've taught you many times of the possible causes of miscarriages, and we talked about the housing. We talked about of congesting many animals in one place, nutrition. When I talk about nutrition, I think you do understand that, you know, knowing what animals are feeding on, what is their nutritional value, at least probably that. You might be having a lot of grasses, but the grasses are less nutritious. That can cause miscarriage. An animal being too much congested or confiscated in one place can lead to the fight of those animals, and that fight can really cause miscarriage. But now there is a challenge that is really hitting many of you farmers, most of the farmers who has the land, and that land is cloaking to the rivers. For your information, liver fluke is one of the things that is really disturbing you. Liver flukes, tick challenge, because now because of the rain and the grasses are really many or much, or the height is too much, the load of ticks are really too much because they have where they are hiding. For your information, I wanted to remind you about what I talked about some time back of really removing the grasses in the goats' houses. Those grasses in goats' houses, the reason why we remove them, we do not want to create any habitat or a house or a host of worms in your flock. When you allow those grasses to be in your house, you're giving a better room for the worms to stay in your house. That means you're giving an exposure to the worms, to your animals, because they are living together all throughout. So why do we want to remove this? We want to remove it so that even if an animal is it has dropped down or maybe diureted a worm, the chances of the worm to survive becomes minimal because it is flat, it is hot, it doesn't even have where to hide. So that eliminates that. So in your information, when your animals don't have browsing grasses, what am I trying to mean by browsing grasses? The grasses that are high, that they can only pick leaves or feed from up. As well, you're exposing them to the worm load, because worms survive more on the lower ground. And two, a lot of more infections are exposed to your animals, like, you know, the Clostridia. The Clostridias, most of the time, animals pick them from the ground. So if your grasses are not high and you have a lot of grasses in your house, the exposure of the disease is very, very dominant. Back to the point that is really disturbing you guys these days. One of the things that are disturbing you, one is hot water. Hot water can be cleared. I told you, when you're using an acaricide for more than 4 months and you're not seeing response to the death of the ticks, how do you know that? Is getting randomly one animal dying today or tomorrow. You get it? But if you're doing proper spraying, you will not have those abrupt deaths. It is one disease called heart water that really brings animals heart attack. An animal is okay and fine. You take it to the garden, you come back, an animal have died. So that means the tick load is too much in your area. What do? You increase on the dosage of the acaricide that you use, or increase on the amount of the acaricide that you spray on an animal, so that the disease can be cleared. The moment you clear the the moment you clear the tick, you have cleared the disease. Then some other people, those abrupt death, people are calling it a bewichi. I don't believe that, but I know what is really causing that is a poor spraying system or the resistance of the ticks on the drugs. The way I deal with it, I told you I can even double the dose of the acaricide, or I double the amount of the water that I spray for an animal. But when you incidentally find like 2-3 goats dying abruptly in your flock, suspect heart water first. What do you deal with? How do you deal with it? One, apply antibiotics, which can help you, which can make that infection static and doesn't multiply in the body of an animal. Then give multivitamin to increase the metabolism of the body so that the animal can at least have some tolerance. Then apply the proper spraying system. So you people, one of the challenges that are really disturbing you, one is the mixed infections. You might see like a flock of these animals, you find they look to be okay, but one of the animals just dies abruptly. Look at that. But if that an animal dies, also I want you to look at the post-mortem. What are the post-mortem results have you seen? You know, these are the organs that we really need to look at if an animal dies. I want to see the liver, I want to see the heart, I want to see the lungs. You get? That can tell something, that this animal is because of this. But you, when you find 2-3 animals died abruptly, my first priority of thinking should be heart water, because that is the disease that really cause that kind of signs. Then two, I wanted this camera person to show you some of these weeds, which also causes miscarriage. You see those? Goats eat that, but it is also toxic. Those are Sodom apples. They are also very toxic. They are not good to your animals. But sometimes animals eat them and they don't seem to react at a faster rate. But it depends on how much has it eaten. That is when it will react. And that can as well cause miscarriages. So hey people, I think I have answered you the challenges that you're really having these days. You can have a mixed infection. One, you might have worms, you might have heart water, you might have maybe pneumonia, this mild pneumonia, but those PPR, pox and so on, it has gone low because we have tried to do what they call vaccination. But for this case, I want you people to look through your management, because some diseases are managerial diseases. Like the heart water I've talked about, that is a result of poor spraying. You get, that is your management. Worms, knowing when you're supposed to deworm, depending on the way your animals are feeding. You get it? So that is also managerial. Like PPR, pox and so on, those are not managerial diseases, but those are epidemics, or those are outbreaks that can come your way, whether you want or not. But how do you deal with it is what I'm trying to explain to you. Vaccination and so on. So people, don't let these challenges overtake you. Take step by step of finding out what is causing this and how do I deal with this. So it doesn't mean that the challenges come on your way. Me, the only way I can, or the easiest way that I know that these people didn't do proper spraying is having an outbreak in the middle of the week. Then one goat drops down and dies. Or I see an animal which has maybe it's having uncoordinated movement. It has a lot of froth from the mouth, or a lot of salivas. You get, an animal collapses. That tells me that these people didn't do proper spraying. What do I do with it? With that, I again spray the animal, then I give antibiotics to those animals. So that is briefly what I'm trying to explain to you in general, that you really need to understand, and then let your project move properly. Thank you. I think let me just wish you the best. Bye.